rule number 1. Please do keep your arms and legs and kids' heads inside the bus at all times. Second, and more importantly, please do remain seated while the bus is moving. But I'll make a little deal with you guys. If you remain seated while the bus is moving, I'll let you stand up and move around when the bus is stopped. Does that sound like a good plan, you guys? What about the top level? If you agree to remain seated while the bus is moving, give me a thumbs up. Just thumbs up to the camera up there. Come on, guys. Thumbs up to the camera. Thank you. Hey, lady, that's not a thumb. So now I've been able to gather, I give a really interactive tour. So if I ask a question, yes, indeed, I am looking for a response. And you have to be loud. It's hard to hear over this engine. And if you have a question, ask me. Say, hey, Amy, what's that animal? And I will make up a great sounding answer. The other thing that I ask of everyone on the bus is that if you can see an animal and the folks around you can't, even if you don't know your neighbors, I humbly request that you help everyone out by pointing out the animals, because I believe that when we work together, we have a much richer experience. Can you tell I'm a 4th grade teacher? She's like, yeah. So this is called the Lost Forest. The Lost Forest is what we call a thematic zone. And what that means is when we construct the exhibits, we bring in the birds, plants, and animals from a specific region in the world, makes the animals feel more at home, they exhibit more natural behaviors. The Lost Forest represents the birds, plants, and animals from Central Africa. And I'm going to pull forward just a little bit. We're going to let this bus go by us. Oh, maybe not. And do you guys see the okapi over there? Yeah, the okapi has that brown fur, but they have that black and white striping pattern on their hind quarters. So everybody looks at the okapi and thinks they're a relative of what animal? Right, but they're not. If I told you they had a 14-inch long tongue, what animal does that remind you of? Yeah, no, not Gene Simmons? Yes, giraffe. Giraffe. They're the only living relatives of the giraffe. And I think that okapi is munching on some ficus branches right now. And that ficus is actually grown on site with the specific purpose of feeding the animals. And that's called our Browse program. The Browse program was started in the early 20s by Dr. Wegeforth. He's the guy who started the zoo. And he said, you know, we have all these animals. We better start growing some plants to feed them. So we grow the ficus for that okapi back there, eucalyptus for our koala. And, excuse me, if you look to your right, can you think of another plant we might grow on site to feed animals? You got it, guys. Bamboo is a tall grass. They can grow up to 60 feet tall. And our giant pandas can eat over 40 pounds a day. I know. And speaking of giant pandas, this pathway right in front of us, that's called Parkway. And if you take it up to the right, it will take you to our giant panda research station. And that ramp right in front of us where the lady in the white shirt is, that will take you up to our Eagle Hill where we have our birds of prey. And here's the SanDiego Zoo. Not only do we have conservation programs for animals, but we have breeding and reintroduction programs as well. And there's some Andean condor up there on Eagle Hill that did have offspring that were released into the wilds of Venezuela. And we're really proud of that breeding program. Now, I do want to point out on the left, you'll see a red sign with a white outline of a bus and a number 2. And we see this bus right here. This is one of our express bus stops. And let's take a moment and talk about express buses for a moment, because this is going to be important information to you, especially later on when you're pooped and you don't want to hop up and down these hills. So here at the zoo, there are 2 types of buses. There are these guided tours, but we also have those express buses. And the express buses work more like a city bus or a transit bus, and they're just a great way to get around the zoo. There are 5 different bus stops located throughout the zoo, and I'm going to point them out as we travel. But I also want you looking at your map right now, because later on you're not going to have me to point them out. And all 5 stops are indicated on the map with an orange bus icon. And you'll notice that they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that number indicates the order that we visit them. So we just passed stop 2. So after stop 2 comes 3, after 3, 4, after 4, 5. After 5, we go back to 1, and we do that all day long until the zoo closes. Now here's why that information is important to you. Remember that hand stamp you received earlier? It's your new unlimited bus ticket for the rest of the day. So not only can you take as many tours as you'd like, you can ride those express buses till the zoo closes. And how it works is you head to one of the stops, show the driver your hand stamp, and you can get on and off at those 5 stops all day long. On the left is the 163 freeway. If you take that about 30 miles to north, you get to our sister facility, the Safari Park. Used to be called the Wild Animal Park. Anyone on the bus ever been to the Safari Park before? Anyone? It's cool, isn't it, you guys? They say yes, it's very cool. They have 1,800 acres as opposed to our measly 125. They also have different research opportunities up there. They have the Institute for Conservation Research, which is the largest zoo-based conservation program in the United States. They also have a frozen zoo where they have cells from over 800 different animal species. It's also really beautiful up there. So I would recommend, if you're sticking in San Diego for a little bit longer, do check out the Safari Park. It's a whole lot of fun. This region of the zoo is called Polar Rim. It's a teal-blue region on the map. There's a lot of great things to do in Polar Rim. First, I have my favorite. Welcome, my friends, to the Polar Bear Plunge, and you are more than welcome to stand up if you'd like. You can even come over here to this gate here if you'd like. The Polar Bear Plunge was opened in 1996. When it was open, it was one of the largest polar bear enclosures in the United States. We have 3 polar bears in residence. There's a brother-sister team, and then there's another female. I think this is the brother. Now, everybody take a look at the polar bear and the polar bear fur. Somebody on the bus shout out again. What color do you think that polar bear fur is? I heard black, I heard white, I heard clear. And it's clear and tubular. And what happens is the air sits on the inside of the tube, and it helps insulate them from the cold. And any color you see is particles stuck inside the tube reflecting light. And somebody said black. Their skin underneath the fur is black. Blue, are you looking at us and scratching? Yes, you are. The water looks really refreshing, right? Not so